Welcome to another one of our podcasts. And this time we're going to talk about Tank Dell. Tank Dell, very exciting rookie prospect, very controversial, but very exciting. So, Conan, what do you have to tell us about Tank Dell?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been kind of surprised by where I've seen him a lot of the time in rookie drafts. I think he's a third round pick that is going behind a lot of guys that were not even close in like 6th round guys. Guys like Parker Washington, Keyshawn
Really?
Butte, Chris
I haven't seen
Rodriguez.
that.
I was checking my
Wow.
rookie ADPs on Sleeper and in one QB and it's just I was surprised. Those were some of the direct names right above him, and I was just like, wow, like those are 6th round selections, a lot more questionable path to starting on their respective teams than I think Tank Dell, who is on a team with, let's see, Robert Woods, old. Nico Collins, okay. Noah Brown, who they just took from the Cowboys, yeah, okay. Amari Rogers,
I
eh.
didn't even remember that Amari Rogers was there. I'm not going to lie.
Exactly. And so really the only player that I legitimately think that will, be someone that he has to beat out in terms of being a top target getter is John Metchie, who we all know was a great player at Alabama. Very unfortunate, just missed year last year due to leukemia diagnosis. But from all accounts, it sounds like he's doing very well and is recovering very well and is on track. And really on that team, he's the only person that has even shown they can draw targets, command targets. He had 96 catches his senior year at Alabama. That's good. It's very good, and he missed all his entire rookie season. That's tough. But really, besides Tank Dell, no one is really standing out to me as someone that could even lead the team in target share targets. And obviously the Texans, yes, they've made some good moves in terms of some of the people they've drafted, signed, whatever, and they should be hopefully better than last year. But I don't think they're going to be that much
There's
better.
not much room to go down over the last 2
Exactly.
years, with Davis Mills. It's not and Tyrod Taylor. It's not much room to go down then from that, right?
Yeah, and it's just like, hey, they're gonna be throwing the ball, and yes, they paid big, and actually not even paid big, but like they signed Dalton Schultz.
1 year
Right
deal
now,
though.
I guess he can be the top target, but they're gonna have to throw the ball somewhere. Basically, I just think Tank Dell is someone that's being very overlooked in terms of someone that has shown that ability. Yes, obviously it was in college, it was at Houston, whatever. But I mean, his last 2 seasons in college, he was 90 catches, 1,329 yards with 12 touchdowns. And then last year, 109 catches, 1,398 yards, and 17 touchdowns. Like that is outrageous usage and volume. Um,
They're great
and so that
numbers.
they are, and he had almost a 36% college dominator. And so if you're not familiar, that's just the total team's receiving production, how much of that pie that you have a slice of, and he had almost 36%. That's really good.
That's elite level, by the way. I mean, most elite wide receivers, anything better than 30% is elite.
Absolutely. And then, like I said, his last season, 30.5% college or target share. Like again, elite at commanding
That's also really
targets.
good, by the way, just for reference.
Yeah,
In
and
the
so
NFL, you're very happy if anyone 20 to 25% is great. I mean, for
mhm.
someone drafted where Tank Dell is, that would be amazing. 30% is really strong.
Yeah, I mean, the guys, I mean, I you don't really see anyone besides these DeAndre Hopkins and like Michael Thomas, their elite seats. Like no one gets a 30+% target shares. Like that's elite.
Yeah,
Obviously that
Devontae
his was in
Adams. Yeah.
college. Yeah, exactly. And then I kind of wanted to, see if we could pull up a metric that would at least compare a little bit more to some of the other receivers in the draft. And so, best season yards per team pass attempt. That's generally a metric that a lot of people like to use just in terms to compare on respective teams. And so Tank Dell came in with a 2.79 yards per team pass attempt. So that was lower than, Jackson Smith and Jigba, number one, Jordan Addison, number 2 or 3 wide receivers in the class, but it was actually much higher than guys being drafted higher in the rookie draft. Guys like Rashee Rice, a guy like Zay Flowers, who went in the first round, guy like Jaden Reed, who's a very popular sleeper. So he had a better yards per team pass attempt in his best season than some of these guys that are, got similar, better draft capital that are being drafted much higher in rookie drafts. We're talking a round or 2 higher than Tank Dell is going, where he's going in the third.
You see the NFL? I mean, sometimes it's a question of what are they judging? Are they judging just the size? Are they judging, the production? Because Tank Dell has great production. A lot better than some of these other players, especially Rice. Rashee Rice is and Jaden Reed and Jonathan Mingo are production disasters.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Mingo, actually, of those. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and so with Tank Dell, I just think we're looking at, obviously he has all this production, and when you watch him play, like, you can certainly see it. I mean, I just think there's a real chance for him to just emerge as just Stroud's go-to guy in this offense for just years to come. I mean, we heard draft night that Stroud said, I want Tank Dell. I don't know how much you read into that, but it's something.
Okay, so I don't know about that. I think that's the point of getting carried away, because for me, the Texans made a huge mistake when they traded up for Will Anderson. I've been bashing them for this. They gave away their, first round pick next year, which could be a very, very strong pick. And for an edge rusher who's great, is he, Nick Bosa level? I don't know. I don't think so. So I think that was a huge mistake. They gave up the 12th pick, which is an opportunity to take someone like Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think the ceiling for Tank Dell is to be the best wide receiver of the ones they currently have. Mm-hmm. He can't be a 1. He can't be a 1. He does not profile like being a 1. And, I think that they are going to find a way. They have to bring in next year. They still have Cleveland's first round pick. They're going to bring in someone who profiles more as a 1 at some point. But I like the opportunity for Tank Dell to kind of gain some value from the depths that he's buried in right now. So he's someone I would still like in rookie drafts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the most likely scenario, like I said, that he's becomes that go-to receiver for years and years. But I do think, especially just this year, if you look at that wide receiver room, like, it's just gross. And as someone that has shown the ability to handle a lot of targets and be pretty productive with them, he's obviously a little bit undersized, but he was still an absolute touchdown machine. I said, he had 12 touchdowns and 17 touchdowns his last 2 years. Like, we're looking at almost 30 touchdowns for a 5'10" receiver. Like, nothing to sneeze at, I think, and I think right off the bat, he's a contributor on special teams. So even if they don't feel like he can go in right away and handle a ton of targets, like, he's going to be, just earning his way onto the field, whether it's through special teams. So, I mean, I just think, especially this year, that wide receiver room, very murky. With the outlook, like you said, Houston's not going to be a good team. Like, there's still a bottom team in terms of overall, just like team talent and just position players.
It's obviously a bad team.
Yeah. I mean, so I think with that, you're still going to be looking at a lot of pass attempts for the team. I mean, I think they passed at the 9th highest rate last season at right around 61%. Yeah. So I just think, the biggest thing is that I think he's going behind guys in rookie drafts that he should not be going behind. The guys I named earlier, just Washington, Butte, Chris Rodriguez, just these are guys that went 3 rounds later that have a lot more just questions with how they're going to fit into their respective teams and their offenses. Whereas Tank Dell, I just think he's immediately going to have a role. And just I just think he's someone I'm trying to target in the mid 3rd, 4th, wherever he goes. I see him.
I'd love him late. In the 4th.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've gotten him in the 4th, but so
I have him ranked in the mid 3rd for what it's worth.
Yeah, and I'm okay taking him right where you have him ranked as well. But if I can wait and get him at the end or the beginning of the fourth, all the better. So I'm just saying, don't sleep on Tank Dell. I think he's kind of fallen behind some of these other, more flashy names, even though they have worse draft capital. And I just think he's a guy that's proven himself. Like I said, if you look at the tape, he's twitchy, he's very sudden, and he separates very well. And then he just has great feet. It just lets him catch really tough balls near the sideline, and he can adjust his route very well to make the catch he needs to make. And so I just think he's going to be a good guy for CJ Stroud to kind of go into, and hopefully, I think there is a possibility, that he becomes a kind of a guy that he can go to. But like I said, I agree with you in terms of he's not going to be the one on this team for years to come. But this year, I think he has a chance to being their top wide receiver. And then even if they add someone more talented down the road, like I do think Tank Dell is someone that's going to have a role as long as things kind of go well this year with Stroud.
Who would you rather have, John Metchie or Tank Dell?
I mean, I still believe in John Metchie. I've had him stashed in, a couple different dynasty leagues. He obviously played in better, competition in college. I think he was a second round pick, right?
Yeah.
And so he has higher draft capital. Very, very unfortunate circumstance where, he missed his entire rookie year, but he did some really good things at Alabama. So
I would say if John Metchie is ready, he's better.
yeah.
Better draft capital, infinitely better prospect, younger, better size. He's better in every way. So if John Metchie is ready and 100% healthy, right now I have John Metchie ranked above Tank Dell. And that's with a risk that John Metchie's not going to be ready. If John Metchie were ready and we know he's 100% healthy and completely cleared, he would be a lot higher than Tank Dell.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm with you there, where if we know for a fact John Mechie's healthy and he's ready to go, he's going to be, training. I think I like him higher. Like you said, some of those things, draft capital's higher, better prospect. But just right now, there's still a little bit of uncertainty. Yeah, no, I think John Mechie, like I said, on that team with in terms of wide receivers, John Mechie's the only one that really stands out as someone that can even earn some targets. I just don't think any of the other guys.
The corpse of Robert Woods will play. I know what you mean.
It's just like he had a lot of opportunity last year in terms of should have been a top target getter on that team, but it doesn't. I think he's done so.
I know
he's
you
pretty old, so yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that target totem pole lays out.
Yeah, and I will always say, to wrap it up, these guys who are picked on day 2, wide receivers especially, but are dismissed for some reason, depth chart competition, in this case it's size, dismissed for size, I'm usually in on those guys. I'm usually in on those guys compared to their draft cost, because people are dismissing them. So I'm pretty in on the other, not as high as Tank Dell, but I'm pretty in on the other third-round wide receivers, Michael Wilson and Trey Tucker, who are also being completely dismissed. I'm in on them compared to their price. So just something to keep in mind. Draft capital is always king, especially for wide receivers, but honestly for every position.
Especially elite production in college too, I think.
Yeah, that always helps. That always helps. That's why Tank Dell is ranked higher than the other two.
Exactly.
But yeah, I appreciate everyone for watching and listening. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. And I will see you all next time.